Thankful to be able to share. I think when President called me, I think 4 or 5 months ago, I actually said okay. I'm actually, first of all, I'm not sure why he asked me to share, but the date was actually not possible. So I think the only date that I thought is good is 17th of June, and of course the other thing that God works in miraculous ways, right? And I think all of us here who are fathers, you would always be most proud of your own son or daughter. And it so happened that today on 17th of June is school holiday, so Lieutenant Garrett, captain of 12, was able to encourage my son David to come and lead worship. So having father and son to be involved, it's actually truly a blessing. Yeah. So my journey, I think I'm also very blessed to be among close friends and seniors. You know, people have played a significant part in my life. You know, sometimes when you touch someone, it may be in small manner, but it could impact in a large way. Okay, of course, just by roles. You know, like Mr. Fong was my school teacher, right? And then, of course, we're all very frightful of him when he's leading us in swimming, right? In his swimming pants and his bare body. Maybe he can later display his bare body once again. And then, of course, I think I grew up in 12. I grew up as a 12 company member, but Sunday school I was hanging out with the 25th company boys at Faith Methodist. So Jimmy Peng was my Sunday school teacher. I don't know whether you taught me, but you were one of the Sunday school teachers that when I was a kid. And of course, Yu Ming, my BBA officer, now chairman of 12. So many others, and just now the lady outside was actually my commerce lecturer at ACJC. You know? Yeah, so a lot of connections. But I think today I was pondering what to share, and what has touched me over the past few years. The verse that really came to me, I guess life is a journey, right? Whichever day we go to see our Lord in heaven, life is a journey. And in this journey, we have many decisions that we need to make, many questions, and many desires that we may have we still have. We may have lived a life. I mean, some of us who have passed 50 may have some regrets, and at the same time have a question of what's going to propel us to live the rest of your life. I think that's really a big question, whether it's in the area of wealth, whether it's in the area of health, whether it's in the area of family, right? The few things. So just so many things to share, but I thought we anchor down on one main verse, which is 1 Timothy 6:6. Gareth? Okay. So, you know, I'm a venture capitalist, and I'll share about how my journey came to that. But one of the things that as a venture capitalist, we always want to create more wealth, right? And make more money, right? Make more money. And at some point in time, there could be no end to it, right? So I was quite keen to seek the Lord's thinking about what it's all about when it comes to money. And this verse keep popping up, and I meditate on it, okay? And really is about how to seek godliness with contentment, and that really equates to great gain or great riches, depending on which version you use. So today, my sharing encouragement is through these three main things: godliness, contentment, and great gain, okay? Great riches. Okay, so for godliness and great gain, what is it all about? You know, so BB was really great. I was attracted. I think I signed up as a BB boy in P3 in ACS Primary. Probably the last person to sign up because, but I was attracted by the uniform and the badges, right? So I signed up and it was really nice to be part of the BB. And I have no regrets. It's one of the few organizations that has molded my life with great friends, you know. At the same time, also taught me how to suffer under extreme officers and still survive. So that helped me in my Navy days, you know. Once you clear, I was telling my son, he's very blessed because he became a staff sergeant and warrant officer without going through LTC1 and LTC2, right? So very blessed. But I'm sure he gets a lot of other exposure and training. But for us, I think BB has taught me how to organize, how to cope with extreme persecution, drinking a lot of water, road marches, you know. So things that I think you probably remember even in your last breath. You think, wow, BB. So Boys Brigade has really molded me. And after the Boys Brigade, it's quite sheltered. I think on the one hand, it's really a good organization, but on the other hand, it didn't quite prepare you for the life when you enter army. The army side, I think, for the physical training and also how to deal with officers and staffs. I mean, sergeant in a platoon and all that. That's fine. You know, you excel. But in the working world, and when you move out into life, that may not have prepared you that well, lah. Okay. So when I first left the Boys Brigade, I came back and served the officer corps. Then went to uni. I mean, as I share, it's all about how God leads. You know how God leads. So when I went into NUS, my first choice was actually building estate management, because I thought that I wanted to do valuation of properties, right? So from early on in secondary school, I already had an idea that I want to go into the finance industry, lah. That's why I slept through my physics exams. Don't tell this is recorded. Cannot. YouTube has a limited viewing. Okay, please delete after that. And I wanted to go into commerce and learn finance. And my dad will always ask me to read newspaper. But the only page that I read was, if you are old enough, the last page of Straits Times, which is the stocks share prices, right? So I was looking. I was quite intrigued. So I went into but God led me, because I joined the Navy, right? I took on a career with the Navy, but it didn't really give me a confirmed scholarship. So I mean, as I share, sometimes it's all about how I put my faith in God, lah, right? So my parents would say, "Hey, you need to go to university, right?" And I got a place in building estate management, but I joined the Navy without a confirmed scholarship to go to NUS. But God was good. With the BB training, I did quite well. I commissioned top of class, Sword of Honor, and then I was selected to go to actually US Naval Academy. But because my A-level result should have a 2A, 1B. Because my econs is a given, I would have gotten A. My math, and then no. But then somehow God just blessed me with ABC. And I didn't get A for my econs. So sometimes disappointment becomes a blessing. And I'll tell you why. And so ABC, I couldn't go into US Naval Academy because US Naval Academy would have been a PSC scholarship. So I had to go to NUS and change some more because it's a Navy scholarship. I have to change course. So I changed course to business administration. And of course, there is where I also met my wife, right? So it's all good. And then after I left and then because I have a US Navy scholarship, I wanted to, the difference between second class upper and above and general degree, the pay difference is a price. The pay difference is you can pay installment for a car lah. So I had to work very hard, not because I wanted to get second class or first class, but because the price is good enough for me to get a car. So worked very hard, and by God's grace, God led me, and I graduated also first class. And that was also not something I have imagined. And partly because I did subjects that the other people didn't want to take. And in the end, it's one of those things. It wasn't because I was that smart, but because God laid the path, Then I left. I went back to the Navy. I stayed on, but because of I did my best. I remember the day I left the Navy, Chief of Navy was telling me times were bad. It was Asian financial crisis, and I was looking for a job, and I was actually applying for jobs, almost sending out CV, 10 a weekend, 10 job application, and then my time, because I graduated first class, right? Sometimes resting on yourself. And that's the Bible verse there, seek first His kingdom, right? I couldn't get any job. And I thought that first class honors, how can no job? I got interviewed by GIC and door were closed. Citibank, actually they wanted to hire me, but because they had a job freeze. So that was also closed. So until one day, I told a lot, okay, I'm going to leave the Navy, and President know how hard is it, right? Because the pay was quite good in the Navy. Leave the Navy and just trust God. The day that I said that, I say, okay, God, I will leave. I trust you. I had two offers. One for an unknown company that no one among my friends know. Another one, of course, from a local bank. But I chose the unknown company. Because the unknown company is in a private equity arena, and I joined that company. And from there, I worked hard. Worked hard, and it was trying to do well and do good. And towards the end, 2000, it was internet time. So same thing, I left my company, the company I work for, and joined an internet company. Okay, then with that, I was recruited back into the company to run Southeast Asia because no one else wanted to do it because it was tough, right? So I think God gave you the bonus to do things that you cannot imagine you want to do. And I just followed the Lord to do it. Not so much in, I'm among two pastors here. I mean, not the kind of really spiritual. I get a call from the Lord at night when I sleep. It's just that's the best opportunity available, and I took it, right? But it was stressful, right? It was very stressful because the higher you climb, the more stress you get. So of course, in that time, we don't know what is doing business, So the world will tell you that, you go and network, you go and drink, you go for happy hour, karaoke and all that. So that was quite a norm, right? And that kind of become a lifestyle. And then in 2002, I left the job because they closed down the company. So they closed down the company. Then I decided to start my own business in 2002. When I started my own business, it was also tough, but it was the Lord who gave me the push and the ideas behind it, lah. And one by one, it kind of it was tough initially. There was not many big success. There was small success, but it was not big success. And then I was involved in companies that I was helping them to list. So 2005 was a big change, and at that time me and my wife, we didn't have kids yet. And I started to experience and understood God's grace. Attended the church. I've always attended church, but I started attending New Creation, right, in 2005. And I remember very clearly that I was actually having my happy hour at Balaclava. And then my friend said, hey, I got you a seat. So we went up to midweek service. And that was the first night when I came back quite early. And when I came back, I kind of, my family, my wife, kind of could feel there's something different. Yeah. And from then on, I kind of experienced trusting God and seeking God's righteousness. Seeking God first, right, in everything I do. Okay, so then big success come in. I was helping this company called Ajisan in China, and I was helping this company. I invested and was helping this company to list in Hong Kong. A lot of problems, a lot of issues. I remember, just to share one story. There were a lot of issues, and I remember a lawyer calling me saying that this IPO is going to derail, right? Then it was like 7:30, I was heading into the midweek service. I told the lawyer, I said, don't worry, everything will be okay. And the lawyer was saying, you must be kidding me, right? And I said, I'm going to attend service. My Lord will help solve everything, right? And went in, had peace, worship, listened, service, came out. The lawyer texted me, say, Eugene, don't believe it, everything's settled. All smooth, everything is proceeding as planned. So God, then I realized that when you put everything in God's hands, and that complete trust is not so easy, right? But only by God's grace. Because in the private sector, you do look at dollar and dollar sign, right? And then you kind of think, hey, how can it not happen? If it not happen, I'll lose a lot of money. But laying it in God's throne, it's quite amazing. Okay, so that's an example of the Ajisan business. Next. Contentment. Okay, so after that, I step down and I tell myself, okay, that's it. I'm not going to do too much. And then the Lord opened doors for me to serve on the step boards. So one day, one lady just called me from the IE Singapore and said, hey, we want to invite you to be on IE board. I said, okay, sounds like a good thing, right? Like in BB Boys, if they want your officer give you a award, you take it, right? It's just okay. Yeah, I think it's an honorable thing to do. Then 2 weeks later, she called me, say, we also like you to chair Crimson Logic. Then I was thinking, I did a bit of background, but I agreed, right? I agreed. But I was also running my own business. So when I became chairman of Crimson Logic, I was struggling because I don't get compensated much as chairman because it's a voluntary job. And you kind of try to calibrate because in the worldly pursuits, you do something, you expect certain reward, right? So I struggled for about maybe 6 months, and in the end, I came to this conclusion that it is God who, anyway, I'm nothing. It's God who gave me this appointment. So I will just serve lah. I will serve like nobody has served before, meaning, typical, I guess BB or Navy, very on the ball lah, very on the ball, do the best. So I did that, and in the end, there were people who said, hey, why is chairman so on the ball, What's he trying to do? And to cut the story short, it gave a testimony to some of them to say that, no, and I shared with some board members that I'm doing it because for the Lord. And they actually tell the happiest part is that they tell other people that, oh, chairman is a Christian and he's doing it because it's for the Lord. So it becomes a third person sharing the encouragement. So I guess whatever God has given us, just do your best and the reward is from the Lord. And then serve for maybe about 9 years, 10 years, and MTI gave me a PBM. That's another story also. They tell me I'm going to get my PBM. Then 1 year, didn't happen. The second year, they fill up all the application, go to ministry. Then came out, of course, we all, like, if you tell you got founder's badge, you're very excited, right? Then you open the newspaper on the National Day. Somehow that year, the PBM for the MTI site is all the way at the back. So after I read first 2 pages, then I say, Lord, I think boleh lah. But I still remember I was in my room and I say, okay, never mind. Whatever I serve is for the Lord. Don't have, also doesn't matter. Then someone texts me, say, hey, congratulations. Then I say, hey, how? And then they tell me which page, So my life, it's always at that crux where I say, it's okay, Lord. Then it happened. When I pursue it in my own capability and worldly pursuit, it doesn't quite happen. It has still small successes, but not big breakthrough. Okay, next. So, okay, anyway, I thought just to share what do we worry about. First one? Previous one? This one is the first one, Okay. So, I believe that some of us may be worrying about job, right? Because now maybe some say recession coming. And we always struggle about what job is about. Actually, to me, it's God-given work. It's work that God gave. So same thing, I thought game over. That's it, I retire. And then someone called me from NTUC and say, hey, would you like to come for interview? People think that it's because I know someone and then I get involved. Actually, it's not, right? It's through some headhunting company that put my name there, and it's all God. And then I thought, since I'm an expert, so-called investor in F&B, I thought I'm going to go to NTUC FairPrice, right? Then they say, oh, we need someone to chair Learning Hub. So I went there. But I never knew that God put me there because 4-5 months later, the CEO unfortunately passed away. And then I stepped up to be very active for the next 2 years, like an acting CEO. That's why I stepped down from a few commitments, not just BBA Alumni. And now, they after 2 years, we found a CEO. And it's about, what I'm trying to share is, whenever I had great success, God gave me the grace to let go. So a few months back, I was asked, hey, are we okay to step down? Then I say, why? No, not say why. I just, did I do a bad job? Usually, right, after 2 years, ask you to step down, maybe you did a bad job. But it's because they have other plans, but more importantly, they found, of course we know him, ex-minister Lim Swee Say, to step up to be chairman. So, wow, not bad, hand over to ex-minister. But it's a blessing because now I work closely with him. I remain as a deputy chairman, chairing him. So in the end, I give glory to God that He has given me contentment to step down whenever whatever task God gave me to do. Next. Material versus godly wealth. I think we worry in this life about money. I don't think I believe there's not anyone who does not worry about money. Okay? But what keeps me thinking is that God will always provide just enough. Okay, and my belief is that we are just passing through. Our citizenship is in heaven. Whatever we have will not last forever, right? So I was joking with David that that inheritance is from the Lord, not from your father or mother. And I think that mindset helps me think that whatever material things we have, it is actually stewardship. Yeah. Okay, next. Family. Yeah, that's another tough one that you worry about, right? For all of us who are fathers, you probably, I'm still learning, but we always worry about children, right? And also worry about your spouse, and the thing that anchors me, and I'm still learning, is of course about love, godly love, being patient, being kind. It's hard to share this sharing tonight, because my son is there, and I cannot, if I'm lying or I'm not living what I say, I think I'll be. And also, it's about loving, being patient, and not demanding. Not demanding. So the switch in my family life is I decided not to demand, but to just give. Because the mindset that we will go to heaven soon, then whatever we have, including our family, is a gift. And because life is so short, why be bothered with too many things that you want to demand from family members? And most of all, the supply is from the Lord. Okay, next. Health. Okay, health, I think all of us worry. I think when I turned 50, I went to see it's good to BBA also got good connection. My cardiologist is a 12 company boy, Lee Fen. And I had I think higher calcium than my age group. Okay? And amazingly, I told Lee Fen that the next time I do it, my calcium level will drop. He said it never happened, it cannot happen. But a few weeks later, when I attended service, my pastor actually called out, say that there's a guy here who has high calcium in his arteries. And at first, we all sit up. I didn't stand up. Then he went on to say it's 3. And he specifically say that you just had this test and the color and all that. So I shot up. I sat up and of course, pastor prayed and all that. So what I'm saying is, even health, our Daddy Lord knows everything about it. And He will, and I think going through, I can only imagine, these days I like to sometimes read books about death and all that. I think we all BB boys, I think going through from this part of life to the next part is one of the bravest thing we need to do to trust God. And I think that's something we need to be sure and steadfast about. Okay, then that's health. Okay, I think overcome just a bit of have good habits, rest, exercise, time with God. These days I sleep. I think someone just mentioned. It used to look so young. I constantly rest. That means I make sure I have enough sleep. In between, in a day, I don't pack my schedule too tight, too busily, and I take naps in between. Some you may think that you are lazy, but I spend time with the Lord, even though it's a motion. I grew up as a Methodist, so have to do daily bread and all that, right? But now I don't. Now I just read at night. I will do the Proverbs. That means today is 17. I'll read Proverbs 17. I'll read Psalms 23 before I sleep. In the morning, I'll read Psalms 25, 27, and 91. That's it. So it's like my daily vitamin pills. And I read it even though it may be, no matter how tired you are, I'll just read it. And that has been helpful for me. Have good company, friends and mentors. All my drinking buddies are no longer calling me because I've really rejected them a long time ago. So, then have right thoughts about our Heavenly Father. I think that's something that we all know about. Okay? Yeah. So, lastly, I think do not worry. Keep telling myself not to worry. And basically, this memory verse, this verse, every one of us are familiar with. But putting into practice is not easy because there are so many cares and worries in our life. But really not to worry, and that God is in control. God will take care of us. God has taken care of me. God has taken care of my family. God has taken care of my friends, So I think that's key, and I will need to continuously drill that in my head. Okay, with that, I think I end my sharing. Yeah. And
there's an emblem there that is known to all, a sign to help us through. It stands for strength and it stands for right, and anchor tried and true. The emblem of the Boys' Brigade, it helps us on our way. Our fathers knew in days gone by, the sign we know today. Sure and steadfast, the brigade boys' motto clear. That's our watchword when troubles and trials are near. Sure and steadfast to the flag that flies above. In all that we do, we'll try to be true to the anchor